Hey everybody, time for another game theory video. Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly comment, share, support the channel if you can. I appreciate it. Thanks, Super Chat, PayPal, Patreon. It does help the channel if you do. I was rudely recommended a video as if Bob, don't even start about Bob, just stop while you're ahead. Don't get me started, Pikachu. As if I would ever do a video talking shit about 2XKO. Don't look at me like that, Pikachu. I was rudely recommended a video about 2XKO, but it gives me another chance to talk about the correlation does not equal causation. And I've said this before that auto combos are 99% of the time they're terrible in games. But curiously enough, the game like Dragon Ball FighterZ, where they get complained about the nuff, again, correlation doesn't equal causation. Auto combos are actually pretty amazing in Dragon Ball FighterZ. But let's look at this just because I was rudely recommended this video as if I would ever make a video on 2XKO. That would never happen.
Fuse is now Pulse Combo, an auto combo feature you can toggle on or off in champion select. When Pulse Combo is active, you can mash light, medium, or heavy to perform a powerful combo. If you have the meter for it, your medium Pulse combos will end in a super.
Can I just say, can we remember, was it not 2 years into the development of the game that there was an interview where the 2XKO developers tried to say that they came up with auto combos? Do you remember that? They're like, we're like, what can we do to do something new in this video game, put a new perspective? And we decided auto combos. Does anyone remember how fucking retarded that was? I digress. And then, of course, Dragon Ball FighterZ medium. Oh, wow, if you mesh medium, you do the super. Wow, that's never been done before.
While your heavy Pulse Combo will
Sarcasm. Hopefully you understand.
Pulse Combo is great for newer players who want to get a sense of 2XKO's combo system, or for just anyone trying out a new champ. Give it a try during the 2XKO close.
So I want to show this again because I've talked about this before, that auto combos don't have to be a bad thing, okay? You can actually try to find a good even ground of having a new player be able to mash on something and still feel special while still having the more advanced player uses it, right? Because you should never have anything in a game. You should never have something in a game that is only usable by one kind of player, right? That's retarded. It should always, there should be like depth. There should be layers to the game. Now, the thing I've said about Dragon Ball FighterZ, why correlation doesn't equal causation, right? Excuse me, and auto combos are cool, right? If we think about a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ, there's only, what is it? There's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 buttons, right? But this button's a fireball, or depending on how your controller is, right? There's only so many right? Light, medium, hard. It's been a while since I've played the game. Light, medium, key blast. Light, medium, hard, key blast, right? Dragon Ball FighterZ, because you only have 3 normals, there's only so many things you can do to give characters unique animations and everything like that. So if you light, the second light, what makes this unique? Besides the fact that the third light is unique as well, right? Which is actually cool because sometimes it could be a grab. Sometimes it might be some sort of miscellaneous attack that might add a sort of attribute to the character, or whatever it might be, right? But the second attack, right, it, no matter where the character is, they automatically go to that side, right? Which is a annoying thing because it homes in on you, right? Because you can whiff cancel it, and that can be annoying, right? But even I've said before, I'm actually fine with that because everything needs a use, right? Because generally speaking, if not every fucking, second attack of the medium or the light attack, the second hit of the auto combo, right? The unique thing about that move is, guess what? Is that it homes in on you and it goes each way. Now, what I can say is perhaps you could say that it sucks that it counts as a medium starter, but what you could have done to balance the game is just say, well, maybe it does medium damage when you're doing a combo, but if it's the first hit of a combo, give it a damage buffer, right? But people will complain about it, and I'm like, this is actually a good thing. It's a unique normal. You can do a little bit more of a combo, and it has a attribute that is effective at every level. It's good at the beginner level. It's good at the advanced level, right? It's always useful, right? Just like it also does smash. It adds the dynamics, right? And I've even said, say, if we're doing like the medium auto combo, I would have said the second hit of the medium combo, I would have made the second hit of the medium combo too. I would have made that, I guess this would be 2, right? 2, 2, 2, whatever. The numbers are confusing me, but let's say the medium. I should use a medium. The second hit of the medium. I would have made the second hit of the medium as well. I would have made that a unique normal, right? And what did I say? For a character like Vegito, right? Because Vegito only has Spirit Sword down, Spirit Sword like this, and like the super, right? But what about his cliche? He does like the ninja dash that he has in every game. So guess what? Maybe the second hit of Vegito's auto combo, the medium, is, guess what? We got 2 guys right here. We're doing this in real time. Hey, Vegito, how you doing? He's waving to you. And then Vegito's like, bzzz. Little laser sword action. Bzzz. Slices right through him, right? Vegito's a character that doesn't have a lot of mix, so maybe this allows Vegito to go back and forth with a ninja dash thing, right? Just like maybe another character, their medium auto combo does something unique. Maybe it's a character that doesn't have overhead, or good overhead options or something. So maybe his medium is a overhead that goes into whatever the case is, right? Auto combos don't have to be bad. And when I say it's a correlation that doesn't equal causation thing too, you got to remember one of the annoying things about Dragon Ball FighterZ, especially when you think of it as being a tag team game, is you got to remember, generally speaking, the way that the tech buffer works in the game is once you get to 10 seconds, right, you've reached the point of no return. The combo has to end, right? So you better have done your vanish. You better just do your super whatever, because the guy's going to, any kind of excuse, unless the move is a absolute stun, whatever the community calls it again. I don't know. I'll just call it does absolute hit stun. That's what I'll call it. Unless the move does absolute hit stun or is a super or something like that, you know, basically they tech once you get to around 10 seconds, right? But one of the annoying things about Dragon Ball FighterZ is because auto combos are so long, because of things like hard to homing dash, which is we then got to chase the guy wherever they're going, or even the auto combo. The guy flies in there. We waste another second just doing the homing dash to hit them, right? Auto combos might be boom. Auto combo might take up all of this time on the tech buffer, right? So you're like, fuck, well, if I do a optimal combo, to do a quotation marks optimal combo, I actually only have a few more seconds than if I just did the auto combo, right? That's why I said if I was actually making Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I've said this before, I actually would have put another second or another even 2 seconds on the clock. Because there's a big difference if we do, say if an auto combo does 60% of the time, right? Auto combo does 60% if we're going to 10, right? But if we actually had 12 seconds, well, then guess what? It's only half the time. And half the time's quite a bit longer, right? You think, oh, I can actually add in a couple more hits. And, you know, when you're thinking about damage buffers and everything like this in games, because you're like, fuck, I'm reaching the point of no return. Some of these optimal combos in the game, sometimes it would feel like, man, was the juice worth the squeeze, right? Especially, optimal is optimal. But I can understand the perspective of that. Maybe you think auto combos are bad in the game because they do take a lot of time off the clock. And it's annoying that, it like homes in on you. You can whiff cancel. But guess what? The fact that it homes in on you and whiff cancels whatever, that's one of the only unique things that it does. That's one of the only things that actually keeps it legitimate even at high level, right? And that's why I say, because you'd never want something that is in a game that is only for one kind of player. Every player needs to be able to appreciate what's in the game. Everything needs to be usable at every level. So I always say that when I look at games adding auto combos, and I always think that, my knee-jerk reaction is auto combos suck, right? I'm not a fan of auto combos, but coincidentally enough, a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ, Dragon Ball FighterZ does auto combos good because they're actually unique. And the fact that it can even be annoying, I would say the fact that people even complain about it shows that in some way they are good, so to speak. They're not terrible because they're usable at every level. The problem is not the auto combo itself. The problem is if we think about the game in a broader spectrum, And we think that auto combos just take too much up off of the tech buffer. But if we made the tech buffer a little bit longer, then auto combos would not be as close to optimal as they are now. Does that make sense? Do you get what I'm saying? Like I said, I would even make auto combos even better if I was making the game. Put in some medium auto combos, make it do a unique attack. And before I let this go, another thing that I think is funny about Dragon Ball FighterZ. Remember how good auto combos actually were when the game was first being made, and I made all my videos when I was predicting the meta of the game, and I'm like, they got to change auto combos because auto combos are going to be too good. And people are like, no one's ever going to do auto combos. Auto combos suck. Do you remember whenever you did an auto combo in the original version of the game, it automatically gave you a super for free when it hit the smash? Do you remember that? And I was like, oh, this is bad. And I'm like, they got to get rid of this because you're going to be able to loop dynamics and everything like this. And you could build multiple Dragon Balls in a combo. People, no, you can't do that. That would never work. Auto combos suck anyway. So I always just think that that's funny. And remember, it was only in the final release of the game. Only Trunk could still loop a dynamic, which is in the videos I made for the game. But can you imagine the meta of Dragon Ball FighterZ? If you think about it now from the perspective of that people openly complain about auto combos a lot. Can you imagine if auto combos were actually as good as they were in the original beta, where just doing an auto combo the first smash, boo, it gave you like a super automatically for doing it? And I'm like, dude, what are they going to do? Because every character, I was like, dude, every character originally could do dynamic. And I'm like, dude, and then you always get a super over and over, and it did absolute stun. And I'm like, what is to stop people from doing this like forever and just getting multiple Dragon Balls in a row, since you always automatically gives you super advantage every single time and over and over? And I'm like, this is way too good. And people are like, no, that's not good. Auto combos aren't good. No one's ever going to do an auto combo once the game actually comes out. Oh boy. Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you can. Appreciate it. Thanks. The end.